Every year, tens of thousands of people in Japan die alone, and sometimes their bodies aren't discovered for weeks, months, even years. Many are elderly who've been cut off from their community and are without friends or family. As Japan's aged population rises, attention is now focused on supporting the most vulnerable.
This is grim work, but someone's got to do it. Takuya Shiota has come to clean up a lifetime of possessions after the elderly resident in this apartment died. With no friends or family, the occupant was undiscovered for 3 weeks until her rent went up.
Two cars parked outside. One of the cars exploded, injuring a policeman. President Macron condemned the attack as a terrorist act. Every year, tens of thousands of people in Japan die alone, and sometimes their bodies aren't discovered for weeks, months, even years. Many are elderly who've been cut off from their community and are without friends or family. As Japan's aged population rises, attention is now focused on supporting the most vulnerable.
This is grim work, but someone's got to do it. Takuya Shiota has come to clean up a lifetime of possessions after the elderly resident in this apartment died. With no friends or family, the occupant was undiscovered for 3 weeks until her rent went unpaid.
The deceased passed away here, and the smell was quite strong because of the fluids that came out of her body. So we cut out all here and disinfected it.
Japan's suffering from a lonely deaths crisis. For the first time, the government has crunched the numbers. It's now expected some 68,000 people will die alone this year and left undiscovered for a prolonged period.
It's increasing considerably. We do roughly more than 100 cases a year.
Japan is getting older. Its population shrinking. Once bustling suburbs and villages are emptying, and elderly people are left vulnerable. It was 20 years ago when Dr. Osamu Yamanaka opened a clinic in one of Yokohama's poorest suburbs. Back then, 4 people a day were dying at home alone, many undiscovered for long periods.
Some were skeletal if no one found them. I was young, and I thought it was unforgivable.
Dr. Yamanaka pioneered home care.
There aren't many people who are willing to deal with people from the lowest strata of society, but he is willing to come to me. I appreciate it.
If I wasn't doing it, there would be an awful lot of lonely deaths.
Services like this are now much more common across Japan, but there will always be limitations. Dr. Yamanaka says communities need to fill the gap.
If they do not socialise with their neighbours, they'll end up with a solitary death. It's very difficult to prevent it.
It's a challenge Yoshiko Sato has accepted. At her massive apartment complex on Tokyo's outskirts, there are almost 400 elderly residents living alone. Today, she's visiting one of them. Yoshiko Sato set up a Zero Lonely Deaths program 2 decades ago.
Every year, 4 or 5 people died alone. It was like that constantly.
It established a network of volunteers that check up on local residents, leading to a remarkable improvement in the quality of life.
She usually visits me about once a week. I look forward to cooking with the vegetables she brings me. It's what makes my life worth living.
Yoshiko's mission of Zero Lonely Deaths was soon achieved.
After 5 years, the number of lonely deaths became 0 for the first time.
But she worries about the future. A future where people are becoming more withdrawn from their community.
A community must be built by everyone, but that's not possible in Japan at the moment. People are becoming selfish. If everyone was more considerate of the people around them or looked after them, there would definitely be no more lonely deaths.
This is a crisis that's only going to get worse. Japan has the world's oldest society, with 1 in 10 people aged over 80. And as the country continues to grow old, there's increasing pressure on the government to do more to care for the vulnerable in life and in death. For those on the front line, government support for community groups is a priority.
There is data that loneliness is the biggest factor in shortening life expectancy. In Japan, there's a lack of community ties. I feel it's very common.
A need to keep connections until the inevitable end. James Oden, ABC News, Tokyo.
In AFL, the Western Bulldogs have secured finals footy after beating Greater Western Sydney 98-61 in Ballarat. After a slow start, the Bulldogs booted 6 goals in the second quarter and 5 in the fourth to stretch the winning margin to 37. It was a team effort from the Dogs, with Ed Richards, Aaron Norton and Sam Darcy each kicking 2 goals. The final makeup of the top 8 is yet to be determined, with the final 2 results in the league still to come. And in NRL, the Sharks have confidently dispatched the Dragons, winning 38-10 in Wollongong. The win sees the Sharks leap from Penrith Panthers into third place on the ladder. With ref obstructions and forward passes, nothing seemed to go the home side's way. The Dragons remain in the crucial 8th position on 28 points, with 4 teams behind them on 26 and 2 rounds remaining in the comp. And the Roosters have thrashed the Titans away from home 48-22. The win sends the Shooks into second place ahead of Penrith and Cronulla on goal difference. Angus Crichton scored a hat-trick and Tupou in a double in a game the away side dominated from the onset. Despite the loss, Titans winger Lofi Pereira leads the race for the Ken Irvine medal after scoring a hat-trick. Australian cyclist Ben O'Connor continues to lead the Vuelta a España, but his advantage was cut by Slovenia's Primož Roglic in the Stage 8. The 3-time champion Roglic attacked on the climb to the finish at Cazorla and picked up a time bonus by claiming his second stage win of the Tour. O'Connor lost pace in the last 2 kilometres and crossed the line in 17th. The 28-year-old from Perth is now 3 minutes and 49 seconds ahead of Roglic in the general classification.
It was quite suffering and it was hard today, but at the end, the opportunity was there. I went for it.
South Korean golfer Yi Jae-chin will take a one-shot lead into the final round of the Women's British Open at St Andrews in Scotland. The 36-year-old Shin moved to the top of the leaderboard with a 5-under par 67. The 2-time champion is 1 stroke ahead of American Livia Vu. Overnight leader Nelly Korda hit her tee shot out of bounds on the 16th hole and is 2 shots behind Shin. On the satellite, thick cloud forming over South Australia, Victoria, Tasmania and New South Wales is bringing rain and storms. Moist onshore winds are sending showers to North Queensland. On the synoptic, a cold front in the west is increasing westerly winds over southwest Western Australia. A high-pressure system is keeping the central and eastern interior dry. And looking around the country for tomorrow's forecast, starting in Queensland. In the east and west, a mostly sunny and very warm day. Possible isolated showers in the south. To New South Wales and the ACT, windy and snow on the Alps. In the east, mostly sunny and cool. Partly cloudy conditions in the southwest and fine elsewhere. For Victoria, in the southwest, there'll be some showers about. A mostly sunny day in the southeast and northwest. Showers easing in the northeast and snow on the Alps. In Tasmania, windy with showers in the southwest, showers clearing and cool in the southeast. In the north, a mostly sunny and cool day. To South Australia, showers easing in the southwest, rain and clear conditions in the west and north. In Western Australia, in the southwest, it will be partly cloudy, some very windy conditions over the southern coastal districts, and sunny and warm elsewhere. And in the north of the Northern Territory, it will be mostly sunny. Over the interior, it will be very warm and sunny. Looking ahead to Tuesday's forecast for the capital cities, Brisbane, partly cloudy, sunny in Sydney, a mostly cloudy day in Canberra, Melbourne, increasing winds and cloudy, rainy Hobart, Adelaide, windy with some possible late showers, easing showers in Perth and sunny in Darwin, reaching up to 35. And finally, authorities on the Gold Coast have freed a juvenile humpback whale after it became entangled in shark nets. The humpback